You've heard that phrase 1,000 times. It's supposed to be the golden rule of business, right? But what if that rule is actually, well, broken? We're about to dive into some new research that reveals the pretty staggering human cost of this one little idea.
I mean, we've all heard it. Most of us have probably even said it. The idea is simple. You prioritize the customer, and success is gonna follow. Entire business empires have been built on this very belief, assuming it's the absolute key to loyalty and a great service experience.
Because let's be real, what happens when the customer is wrong? What happens when they're rude or aggressive or just completely abusive? Well, the cost, it turns out, is measured in the well-being of the employees who are right there on the front lines. And that cost is hitting a serious breaking point.
3 million. Just think about that number. In only the first few months of 2024, nearly 3 million hospitality workers quit their jobs. That's a turnover rate that's double the national average. This isn't just a little shuffle, it's a mass exodus. And it's being fueled by stress and total exhaustion. So at the very core of this crisis is a hidden link. We're looking at an entire industry that is just burning out. And all the evidence is pointing directly to this connection between how customers behave and how employees feel. Now, researchers have a pretty clinical-sounding name for this. They call it dysfunctional customer behavior. But really, it's something we've all seen. It's the verbal aggression, that sense of entitlement, or just plain old rudeness. It's basically any action that trashes the basic rules of mutual respect. And on the flip side of that, we have burnout. Now, this isn't just about feeling tired after a long shift. No, this is a recognized psychological syndrome. It has 3 distinct parts: feeling emotionally drained, becoming cynical and detached from your job, and losing that sense of accomplishment. It's a deep, deep drain on your psychological resources. So just how strong is this link? Well, a massive new meta-analysis gives us the answer. Researchers pulled together 66 different studies covering almost 28,000 hospitality employees all over the world. And the result? It was crystal clear. There is a significant direct connection. The more employees have to deal with dysfunctional customers, the more likely they are to burn out, period. But the study didn't stop there. This is where it gets really interesting. The researchers started to notice something kind of fascinating. The strength of this connection was wildly different from country to country. And this led them to a totally groundbreaking discovery about the hidden role that national culture plays in all of this. Okay, think of it like this. The stress from a bad customer interaction, that's the input. Employee burnout is the output. But right in the middle, there's this cultural volume dial. And depending on a country's values, that dial can either crank the stress way up, amplifying it, or turn it down, buffering the employee from the worst of it. And this, of course, is the million-dollar question. What specific cultural values make employees more vulnerable to burnout from being mistreated by customers? And which ones act like a protective shield? And this is where the findings get really, really insightful. So let's unpack the specific cultural values that either turn up the heat or act as a buffer against all that stress. Okay, so here's the breakdown. On the left, you've got the stress amplifiers. These are the cultural traits that make that link between bad customers and burnout even stronger. We're talking assertiveness, in-group collectivism, and uncertainty avoidance. Then on the right, we've got the stress buffers, the traits that actually make the link weaker, like performance orientation. Let's dig into the most powerful ones. The number one amplifier was assertiveness, which I know sounds completely backwards, right? You'd think in a culture where people are direct and confrontational, employees could just push back. But the research found the exact opposite. In these cultures, a hostile exchange is just more emotionally charged, and it drains an employee's batteries way faster. This was the single biggest factor. The second biggest amplifier was also a huge surprise: in-group collectivism. This is all about loyalty and solidarity within a team. And again, you'd think a tight-knit team would be a good thing, a protective shield. But when a customer insults one member, it's seen as an attack on the entire group's harmony. That shared offense just magnifies the emotional damage for everyone. So what about the other side of the coin? What turns that volume down? Well, the most significant stress buffer was something called performance orientation. In cultures that really value achievement, employees were much more likely to reframe a difficult customer moment. It stops being a personal attack and becomes more of a professional challenge, something to be managed and overcome. It just goes to show you how powerful our mindset can be in building resilience. So what does all this mean in the real world? This research isn't just for academics. It actually gives us a blueprint for how organizations can protect their employees way more effectively. It's all about moving away from that old one-size-fits-all approach to employee support.
What this really means is that support has to be culturally intelligent. For example, in those highly assertive cultures, training really needs to focus on de-escalation and managing emotions. In collectivist cultures, managers should build peer support systems, like having team debriefs after a tough incident. And in cultures with high uncertainty avoidance, the key is to create super clear, predictable procedures. It's all about tailoring the solution to the specific cultural DNA of the workplace.
And that leaves us with one final thought. Because this research isn't just for managers, it's for all of us. As employees, it helps us understand our own stress. As managers, it gives us better tools. And as customers, well, it's a powerful reminder that our words carry real weight, and that a little bit of respect can make all the difference in the world. So, how will you think about this the next time you step up to a counter?